In 1969, a group of astronauts changed the world. They walked on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
In 1972, our journey ended. We've never been back. 2010 begins a year of change. Private companies are working on next-generation spaceships. Governments are looking to go back to the moon and on to Mars. It's time to look up and dream again. It's time to push humans into the cosmos. It's time to educate and engage the planet. It's time for Spacevidcast.
Welcome to Spacevidcast 310. Holy cats. For Friday, March 19th, 2010. My name is Benjamin Higginbotham. With me is beautiful, lovely, and wonderful Carrie-Ann Higginbotham, returning from wonderful Texas, Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Where she got South by SARS.
South by SARS, which is exactly why, once again, my voice is lower than Ben's.
That's just weird. We are your Spacevidcasters. We'll be your hosts for tonight. Carrie-Ann will be giving us a South by Southwest update in the back part of the show. And a couple of things I want to let you guys know about. I'm going to attempt for the very first time ever. Not only do we have the live chat room at the bottom of the screen.
Bling.
I gotta stop doing that. I keep doing this arm movement like this, and it just doesn't work. Not only do we have the amazing chat room at the bottom of the screen that allows you to see the live IRC chat, and hopefully you guys are joining us live and can watch the show live itself, but you know, it doesn't really get out to the rest of the community, and I've always wanted to find a way to integrate Twitter into the chat room as well. And so while we don't actually have the Twitter part, I'm going to be putting Twitter down over here, so it's going to be split in two, right?
Thankfully,
so
it's on his side.
It'll be chat room over
I
here.
get the chat room.
Twitter
he
over
gets
here.
the Twitter.
Yeah, I get the Twitter. So eventually that will happen, not for this show, but I am monitoring the Twitter.
The Twitter.
On
the Google.
On the Google. On the Goog. So if you tweet out, we asked earlier if we should use the what hashtag we should use, and the reason we didn't want to use SVC is that when we integrate it into the chat room down here,
there's other people already using SVC.
Yeah, it's like actually storage technology, right? So you'll get like space stuff and then storage, sand stuff, and other weird things. So
other weird things.
Other weird. That's
sand storage is really weird.
It is weird. So if you guys want to use the hashtag SpaceVidcast, I'm going to watch that throughout the show as well as the live chat room because I need more things to do during the live show.
Yeah.
Hashtag Space.
You know what? We're going to need a lackey soon because we had to get a director, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're going to need somebody to read all of this stuff for us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Man.
Yeah. Oh, Pete got it. It's IBM's SVC. Oh,
Very nice.
Two Pete's to point.
Two Pete's to point?
Oh, God.
Wow.
Space news.
Space news.
Give me a moment while I call.
Did you want to play that again?
Well,
just a couple more times.
Maybe in a loop. I need to bring up my space news on my computer. I had Twitter up, but not the space news. So,
like I said, we are soon going to need a lackey for this. Well, I do know that one of the first stories that we've got going on is new pictures from Cassini of Saturn's rings. And these pictures are amazing and like nothing I've ever seen other than someone's imagination, but they actually are quite beautiful. Is that okay if we start with that?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Look, I mean, they're so cool with that shadow is so neat, and it looks like a record to me, you know, with all the grooves in it, like just a cool way of shooting a record or something like that. But yeah, so Cassini's setting this stuff back. I love how you get this kind of spinning action, especially in that one. Kind of neat.
They're on a 10-second rotation if you're...
Yeah, so anyway, so That's been really cool. See, Cassini is worth something for those of you doubters.
That one's
out
actually
there.
touched up. These are all from. I love that picture.
Oh,
Isn't that cool? Those are actual shots, by the way. Isn't
Yeah.
this? You know, we're saying it like, oh yeah, no, here's Saturn. But look at this. You know,
No,
stay on this.
this
It's going
is-
to rotate. You're going to get the pictures all over again. But look at this. This is an actual shot from flippin' Saturn.
Yeah.
Look at how amazingly beautiful that
I know.
looks.
Suddenly we're all channeling our Andy Cochran. This is awesome!
It is. Look at that,
Look
though.
at this!
Look at that,
It's
though.
so awesome!
This is a large gas giant that has ripped apart other objects and turned them into rings. And we're looking at those rings through a spacecraft that we as humans sent to Saturn. This is freaking cool stuff. I bet these planets have names.
Oh my God.
You guys are awesome.
That was the best right there. Man. Man.
I love it. And as Rob said, yes, we are falling apart.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so that, that was really cool. You can get those pictures on IO9. You can get more of the story on, you have to pay for the story. It's on Space something. Just go to IO9's website.
Go to IO9, that's where
They
the
give you those
pictures are.
details.
Who really cares
If
about
we
the rest of
remember,
it?
we'll put it in the show notes. We won't remember, though.
You never know. I might actually remember.
Yeah, but you don't do this. You don't do that part. So
Anyhow. Really? Did you want to have a fight on camera?
you know what?
That would
No, I don't.
be- Thank you.
Wait, no.
Mostly because
Oh,
one of us was there. And one of us was not.
one thing we didn't cover.
I will say, quick shout out though. No. But quick shout out to all of people who are now joining us in the room, who were at the panel.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. And we normally are a lot better than this.
No, we're not. If this is your first Spacevidcast, welcome. The next one is the cupola.
Cupola.
What's funny is it's pronounced differently, and even NASA says we're pronouncing it wrong. But I don't know how to actually pronounce it. It was uncovered back in February, but we never actually showed any of the pictures. Again, channeling my Andy, this is awesome.
What's wrong with you?
That's just what it reminds me of.
Yeah, but that's okay. Note star, not the actual cupola. Good God! You know what though? I hope one of the astronauts does something like that.
Oh, that would be so awesome. That was an artist rendition. This is an actual
this is
shot
an
of
actual
it
shot.
installed, looking down at Earth. I think that's just an epic picture. I'm gonna wait for him to roll around one more time. So yeah, this is with it covered up. I think that's a pretty cool picture as
It
well.
is a very cool picture.
Yep, and then of course.
Look how clear these pictures are. They're absolutely amazing. And then
That's what
there's-
it's going to end up being. This is what the ISS is going to end up looking like in a long time ago.
right
in a
before
galaxy
it
far,
burns
far
up.
away.
I don't
Exactly.
understand. Man, oh man.
There you
yeah,
go.
Yeah. Are you better now?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We've got,
Good heavens.
Well, we've got pretty much a South by Southwest update for you guys in the back half of this show. We're going to try to start up the daily shows again for you guys, so that we get your space news in that way, so you don't have to wait for the weekly shows to get your fill of space information, as it were.
Right.
It's a trap. And yeah, so that's what we've got for this front half part of the show.
Hey, Absolute! I met Absolute Space Girl down in South by Southwest because she happens to live by, so she came on up and got over to the panel with us, and that was
She's
very
anxious to do
cool.
the South by Southwest stuff, so stay with us. We'll be right back. And oh wait, before we do, check it out. I do want to show off my Ustream shirt.
Plug, play, watch.
I think that's
Ustream.
awesome. Yep. And apparently they had a really cool party that I wasn't able to go to. We'll be right back.
What's next? Where can I go? How will I get there? I want my future. I want my future. We want our future.
Exploration. It's driven us around the world, across vast oceans, and even into space.
We set sail on this new sea because there is new knowledge to be gained.
Explorers like Christopher Columbus, Lewis and Clark, Amelia Earhart, Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin. Space shuttle astronauts like Sally Ride, working to make the impossible possible. Projects like Apollo, the International Space Station, robotic missions to all the planets in the solar system, and back here on Earth, developing incredible technologies like the Internet. When we explore, we find our future. When you explore, you'll find your future too. We've been to the moon. 12 people have walked there, but that's only the beginning. We landed on the moon with primitive technology. A simple cell phone today has more power. How will you use that power? One day, it will be easy for you to go into space in a new generation of spaceships. You may even go to Mars to set up a base. Maybe one of you will venture to the red planet and look back at the Earth. Or live and work in a base on the moon. Or go to other places beyond your wildest imagination. You'll use technology that hasn't even been invented yet. Find solutions that we can't comprehend right now. And look at math and science in new ways. The fact is, anything is possible. You decide the future. Dream big, never give up. Ask for help if you need it. Work hard, study hard, and anything you want is possible. The future is yours.
I want my future. I want my future.
Once upon a time, a special few dinosaurs were given a gift. Something that set them apart from everyone else. Flying. If dinosaurs could speak, the orthodox among them would have dismissed the entire notion. Big deal, they would have told themselves. There's nothing up there but empty space. Every good thing in your life is here on the Earth. Food, shelter, company, not to mention greenery. Up there is absolutely nothing. But a strange thing happened. The dinosaurs on the ground died out 65 million years ago. And the ones with the gift of flight, the ones who pioneered the empty space above their heads, well, they're called birds. What's more, there are twice as many species of birds as ground-walking mammals, meaning the flyers have found twice as many ways of making a living in the sky. And flyers, be they birds or flying mammals, live longer than groundlings. Is nature trying to tell us something? Is there another empty space waiting for the flyers among us? Come to the National Space Society's International Space Development Conference in Chicago, May 2010, and wave the other dinosaurs goodbye. Bring space to life by bringing life to space.
I love the ending of that. All right, so in the break, you guys couldn't see this because the chat room wasn't on the screen, but the chat room was complaining that we played too many commercials. And I'm just going to be frank with you guys. The reason that we played that many commercials in this particular show is because we did zero prep for this show.
Well, all right, look, this.
I mean, nothing. We showed up, I'm like, hey, we should probably put a show together tonight, huh?
Yeah, no, this part of the issue was that, I just got home from South by Southwest last night, shut up, and then I got called into work today. I wasn't supposed to be working today, so there was another 8 hours out of the day, and I got home, I was exhausted, I took a nap. Ben came home and said, hey, we're supposed to go, and I said, oh, that's awesome, but we don't have a show. So, thank you, Absolute. Yeah, so it was a little crazy, but yeah, so that was, but I mean, the commercials were good. thank you to Tim for letting us use the "We Want Our Future" commercial. We won't be running that every time. We understand.
Yeah, you guys should really be joining us live. And I'm looking at Twitter, and Julie G is joining us live, as is the Rack CEO. Geek Mom, obviously, in the chat room and whatnot. And the reason you need to join us live, I'm not going to repeat what was said in the chat room during the commercials, but it was flipping hilarious. And Quantum G, kudos. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was...
So there you go. You want to see that stuff, you got to watch us live.
Unanimous, that's actually one of the most fun parts about even if you are joining us live and your feed is freezing, we almost always have some sort of stupid face on, usually the regular one, but every once in a while, there's just something going on.
Titan Miller just said, NASA's kids shows are actually quite good in my opinion. Where's the ban button?
Would you stop it?
I hate NASA kids shows.
It depends.
No, it's the Treehouse Detectives, really?
No, but...
Why do I know that? Why do I know that?
Okay, the point is, though, that there is a lot of good information in the shows. It's just, it's presented in a way that we don't want to watch it.
All right, anyhow.
Yeah.
South by Southwest. You wanted to talk about South by Southwest. It was pretty awesome.
So.
I wasn't there.
Didn't I tweet enough for you?
No.
Really? Come on.
No.
So I know you guys have been, a lot of you have been with us before South by Southwest. For those of you who are joining us since South by Southwest, welcome. And thank you for watching me. Hey, Chris. Anyhow, point is that I got to go to South by Southwest, which was really, really amazing. I was on a panel with Alias Amanda, or Amanda Stiles from GLXP, Veronica McGregor she works at JPL. She was also one of the people who was tweeting for Mars Phoenix on Twitter. If you followed that, I was on the panel with Nick Skitland. I'm sure you guys, if you would know anything about the space industry, you are familiar with Nick Skitland. He's a great guy. He's done OpenNASA.com, or OpenNASA.org, sorry. And then David Maston of Maston Space, who happened to just recently win the Northrop Grumman Lunar Lander Challenge.
I have a question.
Yes.
How did you get on that panel? You've got NASA, JPL, NASA, OpenNASA. You've got Google Lunar X Prize, these guys that are changing the world through competition. And you got Maston Space Systems, who's changing the world and actually won the Northrop Grumman Lunar Lander Challenge. And then you got you. Yeah,
I came to the conclusion that everyone seems to hear the word NASA TV and HD on the web, and that we're the only one, and they think that we're some sort of big deal.
But what?
I do this little space show. Maybe you've heard of it. Hey, dude, whatever. That got me into an exclusive club, so I didn't want to hear about it, all right?
Sorry, I interrupted. I always thought that was funny. It was like awesome people from NASA, awesome people from GLXP, people who are building rockets, and, carry on.
Hey, Chris, NASA Edge host.
I'm kind of a big deal.
That was the other thing I was thinking of, because I was like, yeah, why didn't they ask NASA Edge? Chris or Blair or Franklin.
They were afraid Chris may have invited Blair, and that's just.
But see, on the other hand, or they could have asked Spaceflight Now. They could have asked Miles O'Brien, David Waters, Leroy Chow. They could have asked any of them, and I said, yeah, but I'm the only one with boobs.
Oh God. All right, that's post-show material. Keep going.
Whatever. The point is, though, that not only am I funny, I'm cute, I'm charming, but I have an awesome show, and it really was kind of sad that no. It was really sad that you weren't there.
You have an awesome show?
I do. I represent.
Anyhow. Tell us about your panel.
The panel went very, very well. It was a lot of fun. Veronica was great. She was our moderator, and I think the whole thing flowed really well. We each had our own little 5-minute segment, and it was great because everyone was showing all these slides, and I said, I really don't even know what to show. What kind of slides can I really show? And then I thought, well, that's just stupid, because if I show any slides of us doing our show, that doesn't make any sense, because we're a video show. We're not a static page. So I thought, well, I'll just talk while I show a launch. Because doesn't that make sense? So,
I'm reading the chat room, guys. I can see what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. So that's what we did. I showed 5 minutes of a launch.
And hi, Chris.
Apparently Chris now can finally hear us. And it was. I thought it was really cool. And I was actually kind of proud of myself. It was slightly ingenious to a certain extent. And it was fun because you can kind of see everyone go, I want to listen, but I want to watch, but I want to listen. but I want to watch. So that was really nice, and it was very cool to see everyone's reaction to that, because it's kind of how I felt. I mean, and I told the story. I was not interested in space. I was not interested in doing this as a vidcast, as a podcast. It didn't hold anything for me. I never had a flame to reignite.
But that's why we're here, because it was me. So for those who are just joining us who have never seen a show before, it was me who had to reignite the flame. As a kid, I had the little sticky stars in the parents' bedroom that blew in the dark, and I always kind of thought it was cool. But then something in me changed, and the flame blew out, and I didn't care about space anymore. And then as I learned, however many years ago this is now, and then even before that, the shuttle constellation, the shuttle program was shutting down. I realized how out of touch I had become with our human spaceflight program, and said, I need to change that. And then I thought, well, I'm probably not the only one. I look around me, and I think a lot of people were similar. But it's not just those people. We don't just need to reignite the flame in those people. It's the people like you who maybe never cared, never knew why our human spaceflight program is so important and so awesome, and just don't even think, they're so stuck here on the planet. I mean, think about this.
Well,
you could be on, if we put all human resources behind it, we could be on Mars in 10 years. I mean, we're talking about a project of epic proportions that no one's even talking about. But if we did it, if we came together, we could be on Mars in 10 years.
Yeah. And I don't know for sure, because I told the story a couple of times, so I apologize if I didn't mention it during the panel at the time. But I basically told Ben to, go ahead, have fun with that. And in like 3 shows, when you have absolutely nothing left to do, I bet these hosts have names. That will never get old.
We need to take that clip all right, so for those of you who don't know, that comes from the
Andy Cochran's Ignite talk at Space Up.
It's called
Space is Boring.
Space is Boring, and it is the best 6 minutes you will watch. You need to, when you're done watching this show, go watch that, and we need to extract that, and then just have that as a button on the desk where I can interrupt whatever and just be like, I bet these people have names, then come right back to us.
Yeah, we do, because that was pretty awesome. In any case, but so I didn't, like I said, I mean, I didn't want to do it, and we've been doing it for 3 years now, and you can't get me out of it. You really can't. It's fascinating to me that there was somebody in the audience who brought it up, because we took questions afterwards, and was like, I don't understand. In Kennedy's time, he said, hey, we're going to the moon, and in under 10 years.
Well, that would be awesome.
Hey, in under 10 days, I'm sure something happened. All right.
You're like, all right, moon, no problem.
Whatevs. But but in under a decade, we got there, right? So he's like, I don't understand what's the deal now. Stuff is being cut back, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, so close to like screaming, like, why don't you know? But thankfully, Dave Maston, calm, cool, collected, was like, you have to understand. Back in the day, they had like a 5%, was it 5%?
5% of the budget.
5% of the budget. And anymore, it's what, 0.1%? It's
0.6%.
0.6% of the budget, okay? So, not the same. Totally not the same. And this guy, he didn't know it.
Well, most people don't know it, right?
That was the thing,
If you go out and you ask people,
you don't realize that people don't know that kind of stuff, and that's like a huge hot button. Like, I just wanted to scream stuff like that. It was craziness.
I bet if you go out and you ask people on the street if they knew that the space shuttle was retiring this year,
they don't know.
If they may not even know. And yes, this is live. And they might also be asked, if you ask them, have you ever been to a space shuttle launch before? Unless you live in the Florida area, kind of like in that general area, I bet most of them haven't even seen a launch.
Right.
And they're going to lose their opportunity to see a launch forever by the end of this year, and they have no idea.
Yeah. And it's really unfortunate. And he was very surprised to hear that. And I think I don't want to say the other thing, but another thing is that people of our generation, we grew up with the shuttle. It's always been there as far as we've known. So to think of it as going away is like, what do you mean it's going away? It's always been there, and my whole life it's been there for the most part. What do you mean it's going away? People are just, they just don't know. So that's why we do this. We wanted to, he wanted to, but now I do as well, want to be the cheerleaders, to reignite that spark, to make things interesting again. And like I said 1,000 times over the weekend, over the whole week, I was like, because space is awesome. People are like, why do you do this? I got interviewed with Tech Zulu, actually, and they were like, why do you do this? And I'm like, because space is awesome. I don't, like, that's almost a stupid question as far as I'm concerned. And we are, keep in mind, we're one of 3 space podcasts that do video. We're one of 3 space vidcasts, if that makes any sense. We are Space Vidcast.
We've got NASA Edge.
2 of them are professional, right? There's NASA Edge, so of course NASA funds that. Then there's
Twist.
Spaceflight Now. This Week in
Twist.
Space with Miles O'Brien, formerly of CNN. And then you got 2 kids in the back of a coffee shop.
If you zoom out, it's not a pretty picture.
Right, but at the same time, we're all working towards the same thing. NASA Edge is a little bit more on education. Twist is a little bit more on the news side, and we're more on somebody said pom-pom side, but that we are.
No idea what we are. We're just here. We figured, meh.
No, but it's interesting, and we care, and we.
Kath, could you really quickly for them, because I mentioned it, could you zoom out for me, just on the camera, just pull out really quick, just so they can see it. This is who we are, guys. I mean, we give you the illusion, but at the end of the day, here you go. All the way. Let them see.
Yeah, somebody said, well,
That's it. We
Chris, you know what I mean.
Got a little table on either side, yep, and then you got the, pull that back, see if you can. Yep.
And I joke, I said, we're basically 2 kids in my mom's basement. But that's actually kind of how we started. That was the only space that we had at the time.
No pun intended, space.
But yeah, that was the only room that we had, and that's what we used, and that's what we did, and that's how we started. And we've been going ever since, but we care about it and we want to get the word out. And somebody said, yeah, you do it in HD, but what about the education part? And I didn't really know how to answer that at the time, but he comes from an education background, and that's why he was asking the question. And it hit me a little bit later on when I got the chance to see Man on a Mission, which is the documentary about Richard Garriott going.
Oh, hey, we have got a
space.
poster for that.
Oh, do we?
Yes,
okay, cool.
But he's not paying attention.
No,
so.
but we'll show that in a second.
Garriott poster. I think it's like the last one in the South by Southwest. There you go.
I did get to see. Yeah, that's it. There we go. I did get to see Man on a Mission. There's the poster for it. It's very cool. And besides the idea of the story, how this all came to be and why he wanted to do it and all of this other stuff, just simply the pictures. Just the HD video of space, literally, I'm gonna choke up now, made me cry. It was so beautiful. It was so striking, and it really was the definition of awesome. We say awesome all the time. And
epic.
But it really, really, it just hit me. And I wasn't the only person. I mean, everybody around me, you could hear sniffles. And, we're all wiping our eyes and our face and, all of that stuff. It was so amazing. And if I can get, one person to feel that had never felt that before, for whatever reason, and if it's because of just the pictures or it's because of, anything that we do, I think that we've done, we've accomplished. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there certainly is an education side to it as well. I mean, there are many different things that go into this, education being one of them. But at the same time, there's just an awe and beauty and inspiration in even just the space shuttle and the launch pad. If we had the ability to strip out PAO announcing and just listen to the ground-to-air communication, that's all we would show. Just that and the sound of the shuttle. And listen to it. Next time you're watching the live launch, STS-131, coming up April 5th, I believe.
Yep.
Next time you watch it, listen to their just noises and things going on. From T-minus 9 minutes and counting, you can hear just the test and just everything that happened. It's really, really cool. It's really cool. And it's awesomer in high def.
Yeah. As Quantum G is answering Space USMC's question, Richard Garriott's father was on Spacelab. Spacelab, right? I feel like I'm... Skylab, thank you. I'm like, something is not quite right there. So his father was an astronaut. And yes, at a young age, he was nearsighted, and that automatically sets him off. But he did pay his way. The really interesting thing about this is that he paid his way to get on Soyuz, get up into the ISS. Prior to that, he had LASIK surgery, and one of the things that he did was an experiment on eyes, on his sight, to see how that would affect everything, and the conclusion came down to that astronauts can now have LASIK and go into space. So while it used to be something that would hold somebody back from not being able to be an astronaut, now it's not.
And I love, We're not pro or anti-NASA at all.
No.
There are...
We have some great friends at NASA, though.
We
and
have
I wanna
people we
say
like
that.
at NASA. We have things that NASA does that we're just like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So we're not affiliated with NASA,
No.
but and they've done some amazing things. But
We're pro-space. Thank
and
you,
I don't want to
Troubles.
say that their time has come or gone, because they certainly have a place. But I do want to say that the whole idea that we've only sent 5 humans into space throughout the eternity of all of mankind, or humankind, is a little sad.
You say 5?
500.
I heard 5.
Oh, I meant to say 500.
Just checking.
It's time to send mere mortals into space and not just suborbital. That's a great first step, right? It's the same first steps that NASA had to make. Everyone had this, maybe I said 500. It's the same first steps that NASA and Russia had to make. You have to do suborbital before
Right.
you got to walk before you can run. But you know
Right.
what? That's a great starting point, but it's time to move past that. I want to go into Leo. I want to go into my space station. Bigelow can build me a space station. I'll buy a blow-up module. I want to go to the moon. I want to have a lunar colony. I want to go to Mars. I don't think that these are things that we should just go, I'm not sure what the point of that is. You know what? They're freaking cool, and you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you're going to be able to get out of that until you go there.
I have to share something with you, because I haven't had a chance to share this with you yet, and it just reminded me at the end of Man on a Mission, at the end of the showing, because it was the world premiere. We got to see the very first time it was shown to an audience, which was amazing. Ben in space. I know, right? But Richard Garriott was there, and also Mike Fink was there, who Richard Garriott trained with Mike. They went up on the Soyuz together and had their time on the ISS, et cetera, et cetera. And Mike was there, and somebody asked something along those lines, and Mike had the best answer. And take it for what it's worth, but he said, NASA did what NASA's done, and NASA has its place, but NASA set it up so that now people like X-Corps and SpaceX, et cetera, can take that and run with it.
Yes, and I want to see
You know what
more
I mean?
people
Like,
taking
they've
it and
set
run.
it up, they've done what they've needed to do, and yeah, now it maybe is time a little bit to sort of move in a different direction, but you had to have this in order to do this. And I was like, duh. Like, I just sat there, was like, of course.
Now, Space USMC brought up a really interesting point, which is wife always thought it was a waste of money until found out there's cancer research done in space. But there's a ton of stuff done in space that people don't know about.
Right.
How do we get on the soapbox? You're supposed to be doing South by Southwest stuff. So I'm sorry, guy. You guys are familiar with my soapbox, and I didn't mean to get into this, but it's something we're passionate about. It's something I truly believe in, and it's hard to not get into it.
But that was one of the cool things, because a lot of people, I would say, I have a vidcast about space, and some people would look at me funny, because remember, this is a tech conference, so I'm talking to mostly tech people. And granted, there's a huge
API calls on Twitter are exceeding my limit on all of the things
There is a large space tech crossover. So when I kind of explain, about outer space and this, that, and the other, then it kind of started to prick some ears, and the interest was sparked again. And oh, well, what do you mean? And this, that, and the other. It was only one person the entire weekend who said, do you believe in aliens? As soon as I said something about space. So in my mind, that's a win. Because if that was the only time that I got that question, bonus. You know what I mean? Everyone else was like, oh, that's really interesting. And what do you do? And how do you do it? And what do you mean? And, all of that stuff. And that was great. That was just a ton of fun. Yes, I totally want Chipotle. You are so buying me Chipotle.
All right, everyone has some homework. We're here to try to not just educate but entertain and get people passionate about space.
Edutainment.
Edutainment. You're stealing my words, but all right. Edutainment. And we need help getting. I think when people see the show and they come and they have fun, they tend to stick. I mean, you guys, we've gotten to know all of you fairly well, and we always seem to have new people show up every week, and they seem to come back week after week.
That was really funny, because Absolute Space Girl was meeting us in person, and I've never met her in person, kind of thing. But she rounds the corner, and I knew right away, and it wasn't anything in particular. It wasn't that I've seen her picture or anything. It was just
wasn't her NASA badge.
No,
wasn't the space shuttle she was carrying.
Very much so. Was like, she rounds the corner, and I was like, that's got to be her. And immediately it was so cool. So I really feel like I know you guys really well. And most of the time when I met you guys, meet you guys in person, it's like that connection is already there, and it's very. I don't know. Anyway, so that was very cool. It was great to meet you, Holly.
My point is, we try to make this happen. We try to make it work. We try to do action, not just talk about it, but actually produce a show to get people excited about it. We actually make content, we make stuff, we do stuff. We hit the pavement, we hand out cards constantly. You need to see the show, this is why we're doing this stuff. You got to join us. My homework, my plea to all of you, for anyone who thinks that we're actually doing something good here, is to, and you think I'm going into an Epic commercial, but I'm not, get people to watch the live show. Or if they can't watch it live, watch it on demand. But I would argue there's a very different feeling live. You feel like you're part of the show, we interact with you, you have fun, you get to ask your questions of our guests when you have guests on. It's like no other show on or off the planet. And just get them to come. We'll get them to stay. But if you can help get them to come to the show, watch the show, be a part of the community, I think that will help us quite a bit.
And it is a community. We don't get on camera and put on cute little faces and act like we like each other and then turn off the camera and go, man, I can't. No, we enjoy each other, we enjoy space, and we very much so enjoy you. And it is a community. We are kind of a little mini family, and that's how we feel about you guys. And the only reason, and we debated for the longest time that we would even remotely try and ask you for money, is just so we can bring more space to you. It's not so I can go out and get a pedicure every other week. It's not so Ben can, shut up. It's not so Ben can go out and buy an H2 or anything along those lines. Would you stop? It really is because we want to be able to bring as much stuff to you guys as possible. What is it? Only 51% of our audience is within the United States?
50.1%.
Okay, so 50.1% of our entire audience is within the United States, which means there's tons of you who aren't here. So, we rebroadcast NASA TV. That means NASA TV is getting shown in Japan. We go to South by Southwest. Now, granted, I didn't get a whole lot of video there, but, we do Space Up. We do ISDC so that people all over the world can see what's going on here and get excited about it again. NASA's one of the biggest names in space, and the only people who really have a lot of access to it are the people in the U.S., and that's kind of a shame as far as I'm concerned. So that's why we do it. We really do believe that this is a community, and we really do appreciate you guys. And we're not the heads of this community by any means. It really is, you have as much say as anybody else.
I'm definitely the fearless leader. I will accept the terms Galactic Overlord. I will accept that. The show's starting to get a little bit long. I think you guys get the point.
Yeah, sorry.
But certainly help us. Assuming you like the show, you keep coming back, but help us by bringing in more people, and then help grow the community.
I'll be writing a post about South by and
Great.
other stuff that I did.
But before we go, Dave Maston Space Systems. Mm-hmm. You guys were prepping all of your presentations.
Yeah. We'd had a kind of a late night the night prior, and we just wanted to sort of double check and tweak. Amanda she wanted to change a couple of slides, and Nick wanted to make sure that his slides are because the other thing is that nobody wanted to sort of say the same things over and over and over again. Like, we wanted to make sure Space Tweep Society got out there, but we didn't want to, keep saying, everyone say the same thing is basically what it was. So we wanted to make sure that we all sat down, and besides, we had to meet Absolute. She was coming over and stuff like that. So we wanted to find a quiet place where we could all sit, and if you ever get there, the convention center is a little bit odd, but sort of off in this one little area. We found some tables, and what really made the decision for us to be at those tables instead of other tables was there was just exactly Legos. There was a gigantic pile of Legos.
So what does the space engineer do?
Well, the engineer, of course, says, this is where we're going. And we sat down, this is the pile, and Dave Maston.
You can see him right there. His back is to us.
And I wish you could see his face more clearly. He had the most silly little grin on his face, as if he was like a 5-year-old kid again. And he just would dig through all of those Legos, and he ended up creating it was a ton of Legos. Yeah. He created this cute little Lego moon rover. I don't know if we've got a picture or two of that. There it is on the windowsill. I know it's not the best picture, but that's where everything kind of got displayed. We put a GLXP sticker on it, of course, so you knew, what this was supposed to be for, kind of thing. But Rovi from GLXP, if you guys have seen that. So there you go. You can see Amanda Stiles off in the back there.
And she's got glowing coffee cup.
Well, that, and it's got it's got the zoom back to the moon picture or
Yep,
sticker on her lap, and then there you go is our little Rovie, wonderful little Rovie.
Did you guys keep Rovie?
No, we put him on display. We were like, that's what this is for. It was funny because people would walk by and go, hey, what are all these Legos for? And Skitlin, brilliant Skitlin, was like, oh, well, it's in promotion of our Moon 2.0 panel. And he would tell them like where it was and when it was and everything, like as if we had brought the Legos in. But yeah, whoever brought the Legos in was brilliant. It was awesome. It was such a community builder. It was very, very cool. Yeah, right? It was awesome. It was so much fun. So just want to make sure you guys got that.
Well, that's our show this week. It was a very informal show, light on the news, but heavy on the fun. That's how we'd like it.
There you go.
Join us next week. For those of you who forgot or who weren't able to join us this week, the show is 1 hour later for you if you changed your clocks. If you didn't change your clocks, the show time is the same. Daylight savings time messes with the show. We don't honor it, so if you do, you got to figure out when the show is. The countdown timer in the the right side of the website will be up to date with that. So I'd like to thank all of you guys for joining us, and we'll be. Do we have a guest lined up for next week?
I believe we are going to have Robert Perlman from Collect Space.
Perlman! The Perlman! He's like a pirate patch. It's the Black Perlman. That's from the Disney movie Pirates of the Caribbean.
I didn't.
That's what that's from.
Thanks for that. That's great.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.